We have an update on when we will see the Hulkbuster Buff. Kabam are compensating players for the Sparkle's Abyss bug, and are we likely to see a surprise new event today? Yes, hello everybody, welcome back to the Marvel Contest of Champions news for Wednesday. Hopefully you're having a lovely week so far, and as well we've got a lot of things to go over, some micro stories, some bigger stories, and all of it very much community spirit led. Also, before going anywhere, just to let you know that there were 3 people picked for the giveaway of the Any Minifig For You figurines of last week from that video. So those that entered on Instagram, they're on screen at the moment, and I have been contacted by the company. And just before we get into the news today, I want to give a massive thank you to my current YouTube members and as well patrons, and not to forget as well those people that support on twitch.tv/RichTheMan Live. That's where I stream most days. So thank you very much to my Twitch subs, and as well those that do it through Twitch Prime. So if you want to give a free Twitch sub and have an Amazon Prime account, you can do by following the on-screen instructions. Thank you very much to everybody that supports through this means, as it does help me out as a creator, obviously make content and pay the bills at the same time, so thank you. But I haven't forgotten you, loyal viewer, that comes back each and every day to each and every video, hits the like button, obviously was subscribing with post notifications on, all supporting the videos from start to finish, and as well getting involved with any comments in the comment section, and obviously saying hello and all that stuff. It massively helps out the channel, and thank you very much for your support to help me as a creator continue on and make content. Thank you. But enough of this non-Marvel Contest of Champions related talk, because we have news that we need to cover. The first story up is compensation when it comes to gaining binary charges when in binary for Cap Marvel movie. As you know, having a constant cycle of gaining binary charges is a bit unfair if the champion is already in binary. With a lot of players that have gone into Abyss of Legends, seeing the the BSery that comes around that champion, and as well the interactions with Mystic champions, it has meant that it's been very frustrating and has cost a lot of players when it comes to revives and as well units in general. As Mike says here, that this will be a fix that we're putting very shortly, but as well saying we'll also be working to compensate summoners that fought Captain Marvel in her original implementation when she was taking less damage from Mystic champions when gaining binary charges from their attacks. This will be in the form of consumables. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe when this post was originally put out that it wasn't going to compensate players, or the realms of compensation was not in shape and form of consumables. And when we're talking consumables, this may be, it seems to me like, you know, you might go, oh, is that boost? But I think consumables is kind of not limited to, but expanding to things like revives, health potions, and things like that. Either way, when this compensation package is kind of sent out to players, do let me know if that is indeed the case, because obviously that would be fair. So let's just say it more than likely will be consumables like revives when it comes to this, and a lot of players spent a lot of revives in order to get through this particular interaction. Next up, and a post that I've been trying to put in Marvel Contest of Champions news for the last 2 to 3 weeks, but due to obviously time frames and I don't want the videos to be extended too long, the fact is I haven't been able to slot this in, but it's very important. So this was a post that was put out a while ago, so a thread that was created, but it was unfortunately closed down. And it goes back to that variant 4 issue. Now, this is prior to the massive feedback that Kabam got, but at the same time, variant 4 is a little bit unfair for those that, say, 5 years ago didn't know that selling a 1-star would be so much of a problem. In particular, when it comes to drop rates. Now, as you can see here, the hero crystals. Nowadays, we assume that most crystals have the lesser thing would be the higher percentage. So, you know, Cavalier crystals, you're more than likely to get a 3 or a 4-star based on the percentage drop. But the hero crystal is a bit different, especially considering that, you know, it's 20% to get a 1-star over an 80% drop to pick up a 2-star, which does seem incredibly unfair. These crystals have been very frustrating for players, especially those trying to get through that Mordo fight of Variant 4 without having a Hulk. Now, I did it once by mistake because I brought in the wrong champion, and I tell you what, it was hell and cost me more revives, but I was already quite the way through it, so I thought, right, I'm just gonna go through it. Kabam's response on the matter a while ago was that, hey there, the drop rates on the crystals are what they are supposed to be here. I just think that's a little bit unfair and would be better if it was more of a case of an 80% drop against a 20% drop for 2-star. So 80% for 1-star, 20% for 2-star. So it's a bit frustrating to see this, and Kabam, if you are watching, maybe this is worth a look into, especially for those players that are suffering, that haven't been able to pick themselves up, you know, good enough 1-star rosters. And obviously, like I said, years ago sold their 1-star roster because they didn't know that they would need them down the line. Next up, and let's talk about 27.1. As you know, I did a little release notes video, but it looks like obviously Kabam have put this onto the forum for you to check out as well. Now, it does look pretty cool what they've planned, and I'm pretty excited to see what this event will hold. Do bear in mind, Kabam have not said or given any indication for the long-term roadmap, even from like a CCP standpoint. We've not heard what they're planning, and I would hope that that would go out to everybody at the same time for what they plan for the future based on the general feedback. So that's something hopefully we can look forward to in the next week or two. We'll have to really see. Obviously, the controversial Alliance tickets situation has to be resolved, I think, based on the feedback, but there's more to that that meets the eye. And as well, no cost for map 5, which is great. Obviously the treasury situation, treasuries are now closed, I believe, so it does mean that the future is nigh, but also like what Kabam plan for the future is another thing entirely. Either way, an event where you can have a special type of store, and the store being a case that you can buy potions and revives, is a first for Kabam. So that really helps out those that are free to play, and as well those that don't want to spend their units quite so much. There are some positives, but also at the same time, it doesn't really give an indication whether or not these special objectives are going to be similar to this month. It does sound like it is, but maybe it's going to be similar to Baron's War, where you do all those different objectives and pick up coins from smashing out those enemies and defeating them. So that may be a video I've got to make at a later date. Also, solo events, so there's a lot taken from this, but it looks like it's going to be a fun June, but we still got to see what Kabam have got to do when it comes to answering against the community, as I said, which will come in early June with what they said in a previous post. Our next story is focused on Platinum Pool. As a lot of you know, the Platinum Pool messages have been confusing a lot of players, including myself, based on the fact that we don't really know what this is all meaning and where it's all going towards. Yes, there has been somewhat of a riddle, but number one, the riddle could point to something. Number two, the riddle could be a ruse, and then actually something else and completely different coming in as an event. And the third thing being it could be a complete load of bull honky, and we'll end up finding that we've been trolled by Platinum Pool. I would probably say it's either going to be an event or it's going to be a load of trollish stuff from Platinum Pool. But I think that if I was Kabam, and Kabam have been silent on answering on this from any area of communication. So if you say to Kabam Mike, you say to any member of Kabam, what's going on with this? Even from a design perspective, event perspective, and anybody that could be doing the writing the riddle themselves or writing the dialogue for Platinum Pool, they have been silent. And because they've been silent, it's either going to mean that there is an event that they've got in mind. And as well, with the champion fully built, you kind of think that, right, there's going to be some kind of revenge from Platinum Pool. And Platinum Pool wants to obviously go, right, well, you've beaten me X amount of time, so this means I'm going to be able to get back at you, which could mean that there is an event. And I would probably say, and if I was to guess, look to see later on, obviously being Wednesday, a week before everything kind of like changes over with a new event, whether or not there will be a week-long Platinum Pool based event. That is my guess, my assumption, but I could be completely wrong. Thoughts on that in the comment section, and thoughts obviously go to this forum post and have your say. But it just seems very weird to have all these messages that build up, and it hasn't really been the key feature of Rifts, but it's been a sub feature of Rifts. So that's just my theory there with that we might see an event later on today. Next up, and yeah, I don't know really what to say this. Hulkbuster Buff, something I've been really looking forward to since having the champion to play about in the beta, I was actually kind of thinking to myself, right, I'm going to be able to have this champion to use in some content. Even some lanes where I was like, hey, Act 6, like I think I've got a lane where I've got to take 3 tech champions, and I'm like, hey, I've got Hulkbuster, my 5-star, it's going to be ramped up, it's going to be tasty, I'm going to be able to like take it in. Instead I had to think, I relied on like Stark Spidey and Iron Man Infinity War and Guillotine 2099. Not this in the 2099, but then I had to then take in further other champions that then had counter things. Anyway, enough about me, but the fact is it would have been nice to see that Hulkbuster Buff champion in to take against the content. So the question is, when are we going to see the Hulkbuster Buff? Is it going to be in the month of June? And indeed, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but Kabam Mike has announced that it will be in the end of June in version 27.2, which puts it into either being July 1st, or it's going to be a case that if the update goes in on the 30th of June, that's when you're going to see a Hulkbuster Buff. This is slightly disappointing. I really was looking forward to playing with this champion, having it for some content, but you know, I really hope as well, with the time that it's been out of the beta, that it hasn't been kind of like nuked in any kind of way, because like I love the regen side of things. I love the way that the champion ramps up damage. I thought it's exciting as well. It seemed to be very Suicide Mastery friendly, so that is something as well. So I really hope that it hasn't been overly touched. Fingers crossed, but yeah, a little bit disappointing with this. Now on to our final story, which is arena predictions. All my predictions are down below at the moment. I'm going very high for Red Guardian, and I'll explain why. This champion was great, a lot of fun to play with the CCP, and as well, this is probably one of the only champions that I've really wanted, especially because there's been some really kind of duff champions released. Sorcerer Supreme is a good champion, but it's not for me. However though, this champion, in compared with the Deadly Origin version of Black Widow, I actually preferred more. But again, it speaks to my play style and the way that I like to play. You might be completely different. Either way, 72 mil for the 5-star version. I know it's high, but I think that's where it's going to go. 5-star version, I'm going with 13.5 mil. Again, high, but I think that's where it's going to go. The 3-star, 1.55 mil. And then finally, the basic, which is Red Skull, which, let's face it, not many people are actually going to go for. I'm going 1.6 mil. I just think that with the Red Guardian being as good as it is from a point of some very interesting kit, which we haven't seen a lot of in the past, and as well, different applications to different areas, it's a great champion. So I think that's why I'm going with the high. And as well, with the global pandemic at the moment as it is, everyone's going to be in and grinding for this champion. So let's face it, that's how it's going to go. In any case, thank you very much for watching this edition of Marvel Contest of Champions News. Check out some of the videos posted yesterday up here. Check out the supporting link here, and as well, go over to here for the Rich's Realm. I might post another video to Rich's Realm by the end of the week, but I haven't really decided. Also, I need to find a game to fill out the time until the game's actually released. So hey, that's fun, isn't it? But in any case, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye for now.